Hello and welcome to 18 WJTS-Inform. I'm your host, Bill Potter. We continue to meet candidates who are running for office. And in this edition of Inform, we're going to meet Josh Budd, who is running for the mayoral candidate, the mayoral race in Jasper as an independent. Josh, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Now, let's start things off by finding out who is Josh Budd.
Well, I'm 33 years old. I am a native of Jasper. I graduated from JHS in 2001. Moved upstate to Indiana University, where I attained a Bachelor of Arts degree in Communication and Culture, as well as additional minors in English and linguistics, particularly in linguistics, Swahili language and culture. I'm a big proponent of culture. That's sort of where I learned and broadened my aspect of life in the real world. Lived in Chicago, where I owned and operated a editing company for a couple years and had opportunities to work with major corporations like ESPN, Fox, NBC, and living there and being an entrepreneur and doing well was great and fantastic. However, I had a daughter who felt it would be better to, be closer to and live next to and help her sort of make sure that her life was going in the right direction, and so came back to Jasper and been here since. Had opportunities to work. I worked with the TV station here before it was TV 18, when it was TV 27 back in the old days.
Back in the day.
And had a bunch of, not a bunch, but other various job opportunities. The most previous one was with Jasper Engines and Transmissions. Doug Bobble personally recruited me to come in, and after I interviewed with them, the spot that they found for me was in efficiency executive, which I thought fit exceedingly well. Having one hand, I sort of have had to do most things that people do with two hands, but do it with one hand, and so efficiency was just part of who I was. And it worked out, being able to communicate, having skills in teaching, because it wasn't just about looking at and understanding how to make processes and procedures more efficient. It was teaching individuals, associates, managers, floor associates to be able to have a pair of eyes that could look efficiently as well. Because, having just one person out on the shop floor looking for efficient problems can get stuff done, but having 20 or 40 or 50 or 100 people with a fresh pair of eyes looking can just change companies. And I think that Jasper Engines, being the largest remanufacturing company in the country, had a great foundation and helped me to ascertain, economic development and problem-solving skills that will transpire into positive effects if and when I become mayor. And just sort of saw the opportunity, felt the vibe of the community, wanting to add in, another option and another voice for this mayoral election here in Jasper, which I think is what's needed. I decided to sort of take a little bit of a leap of faith, talked with my daughter and prayed, and the rest of my family and friends, and thought I'd give it a shot. And I have enjoyed it ever since. So I've been a ground pounder stomping the pavement for the last few months and listening to people. And that's, I think, is important for a mayoral candidate.
So that's really why you then decided to run. You feel like it's another time to do something different.
And I do. We, in our society that we have today, with a dual party system, how often do we go into a store or a restaurant and only have two things to purchase? That competitive commerce, the marketplace for new ideas should be thick with those new ideas. And I think that it got to a point where I was tired of sitting on the sidelines, looking and letting folks sort of dictate what happens, and wanted to get in the game. I think that my views resonate heavily with the community views, talking with folks. The first part, before I could even run for mayor, was getting enough signatures on a petition. So I used that as sort of a fact-finding mission. I was going around and literally talking to, door-to-door, talking to, registered voters and understanding their needs, their concerns, their desires, and they ran congruent with what I sort of wanted to see and the issues that I am presenting and want to see addressed. And so, I wanted to get into the game and let the people know that they had a voice that was out there.
Yeah, now, if you would become mayor, what are issues or concerns that you see the city of Jasper is facing now, will face in the future, and how would you address those?
Well, I think we're very lucky in the community that we live in. We live in a very strong community, a very safe community. I mean, our unemployment is 3%, and we just have a lot of intellectual capital and a lot of really smart and caring folks, good Christians. And so the issues are specific to taking what is Jasper a good place and to making it hopefully will be a great place that can hopefully show and earn the distinction of one of America's, if not America's best community. And I think we have a real opportunity to do that. We're sort of right at the precipice. And those issues come down to sort of 4 specific points. We have open government, which is needed. We need to focus on education. We need to create more engagement opportunities, and we just need to be more efficient. When talking about open government, and this is what I hear sort of the most about, and one of the ways that I feel most strongly about is the people having a voice, and not just that the public officials are listening to them, but that they're being heard. You know, I go around and I'm going door to door in the evenings and during the day and going to meetings, and a lot of what I hear is, you know, I've tried to communicate with my public officials, I've tried to communicate, and they are listening, but then they shrug us off and nothing ever happens. And so making sure that the community and the people that have concerns and have issues are addressed, and making sure that those are fixed and remedied is very important. I think a lot of it comes down to being able to speak at meetings. You know, the park board meeting, I think the Beaver Lake situation is a relevant and recent one that folks can associate with that is very important, because the meetings are not at times when the average voter, the average citizen, the average worker who's 9 to 5 can sort of make that. Being at 4:30, it makes it tough. You know, and that used to be at 7 in the evening, where a lot of people could make it. Now it's at 4:30, so a very limited number of folks can make it. So I think one way to address that I would do is I would change those times. I would, work with the council, I'd work with those boards to make it more advantageous for the average citizen to be able to come to those meetings. In addition to those meetings, even if you want to talk, you have to jump through various hoops and go over all these hurdles. And I think that that's just not conducive to what is a proper democratic, democracy. People should be able to speak what they want, when they want, at these meetings. And so eliminating those hurdles, I think, is vital to open communication. And all of those can create a more open government. One specific thing that I would like to do either with TV or radio, with you guys, is create a monthly TV and or radio show where I can address municipal issues and concerns that's happening right now in our city, and then also to take questions from citizens. Obviously giving them, again, another voice and another way that they can just stay up and make it so that the government, at least our local government, is more transparent. Understanding what we do, how we do it, and why we're doing it. And that transparency can just only be good for the people, in that the government will be working for the people, not just for a political party here or a special interest there. It's for the whole community at large. In terms of engagement, I think the radio TV show, projected radio TV show, would be a great engagement opportunity for the community. Another area of engagement that I see as a need that I've had many people ask me about is getting a youth center here in our community. Right now, the kids in our community, we've got such a fantastic and impeccable park system, and it's amazing. However, come November to March, it's really hard to get out there. It's snowy, it's really wet, it's inclement weather, so it's tough. So providing the youth in our community for a safe haven of drug-free fun to do after school on the weekends, and particularly in the wintertime, I think is just going to help engage those youth and give them opportunities to hang out with their friends, to be in a safe environment, and to possibly meet new friends, and actually go out and communicate with each other. Right now it seems like everything is tech and communicating on the phone. I think that's a skill that our kids and our youth are slowly dwindling away, and that's something that a youth center could help offset and give the kids in Jasper a unique opportunity. There's been tremendous success with the Teen Outback in Huntingburg. I think maybe looking at them for positive ways and utilizing that, and then researching and looking at other ways, but just creating a place for kids to come. I think additionally a way to continue to engage our community would be a Christian music festival. I think that only could be a great engagement opportunity, but a possibly good fundraiser for some of the various things that we want to go around here. Those things can be very strong and draw in a lot of people from our community, but from regionally. And I don't just think regionally in southern Indiana. I think you can talk regionally in the Midwest. We have a really good Christian music festival. We're going to get not just thousands of people, but possibly tens of thousands of people to come and spend some money and spend some time and see what we have to offer here in our community. And then when we're thinking about education, on a national level, I think education is probably the most important topic. The youth are our greatest natural resource, and they're our future. And though the mayor doesn't have a spot on the Greater Jasper Consolidated School Board, doesn't have a direct role in those students' lives, that they have the municipal power and the municipal resources to be able to positively affect the educational outcomes of our students in Jasper. With the health and safety, with the fire, with the police, we should be utilizing those services, the arts as well. I mean, we've got the only city-funded arts commission. Let's put more of that back in the school. I know that in the last 4 years that the number of art programs that the city has worked with the schools has been cut in half. And so I'd like to maybe bring those back, but, also creating, incentives for the students. One thing that I would personally find myself having a talent with is working with youth. And I would love to be able to have an opportunity to put an incentive out there to maybe eat lunch with the mayor once a month or once a semester, in terms of having good grades like straight A's. There's all those students out there, but not just the straight A students. How about those kids that are struggling a little bit, who need some incentive, who want something to shoot for, the D students, the B students, the C students. If we can create what I call bugs, which means bringing up grades initiative for those students to come and eat lunch with the mayor as an incentive. If we can get them for that little incentive to work a little harder, to pay a little bit more attention, to invest a little bit more in their education, then they're going to go from a C student and they're going to move up to a B student. And then that B student, they like that incentive. It was a positive outcome. It was a positive experience. They're going to continue to work hard. And that B student then will become an A student. And by the time I feel that they become an A student, they've learned that knowledge is fun. Learning is cool. And so now they don't need incentives. Now they are invested in their own education and hopefully bettering themselves for many years to come. And education is not just stopping when you get out of high school or stopping when you get into college. It's a lifelong endeavor. And then efficiency. Efficiency is maybe the most prominent aspect of what needs to be addressed here in Jasper, because open government, if you want to have a say, it's certainly harder. When I'm in mayor, it'll be much easier. Education, not everybody's got kids in school. Engagement, not everybody wants to be engaged. Hopefully we want to get more people engaged, but that efficiency, saving the taxpayers money, whether you want to be involved or not, is going to help everybody. It's all encompassing. And so creating a more efficient philosophy, and it's sort of a top-down philosophy where as a mayor I could educate and teach the department directors, get them to have a fresh pair of eyes, like I have a fresh pair of eyes, have them or have myself help teach the ground working associates, to have a fresh pair of eyes and be problem solvers, not just answer givers. They are being efficient in all that they do, in all the processes and all the procedures. So again, it's not just my pair of fresh eyes, it's 24, it's 100 pair of fresh eyes. And I think one specific way that we can do that, I would like to do that, is by reducing the budget by 5% annually. And that's going to be done through eliminating insufficient work. It's going to be done through eliminating redundant work. It's going to be done through eliminating inefficient work. And if we can do that on a broad spectrum of our government, I think that we can be efficient, thus getting more bang for our buck and more bucks in the pockets of the folks. And it's not about getting, cutting costs and getting more for less. It's about getting more for the same amount, or even getting a better quality for what we have.
Okay. What then is the difference between you and the other candidates? We're running out of time, so...
Of course, I'll try to make that fast. Well, first I'd like to say that, having known the two candidates, they're both very good gentlemen. And I think one of the things that sort of lets me stand out is my youthful exuberance, my communication skills, and in particularly the fact that my platform, the open government, the efficiency, the engagement, the education, isn't necessarily all about what I want to see. It's about what the community wants to see. I've taken these issues directly from the folks that I've talked with, the things that I've seen. It's not this is a Joshua Budd wants to have it. This is a Jasper needs it. It's not about a special interest, and a special interest can be a political party. That's what's fantastic about me being an independent candidate. I can take the best of both parties and sort of eliminate some of those other ineffective ideas, inefficient ideas that sort of transpire that will only work for the Democrats or only work for the Republicans. And I think in our community and national society today, that's why 45% of the population is associating with independent candidates compared to the 21 or 23% for the Republican and Democrat parties respectively. We don't live in a black and white world. It's not about this or that. It's a gray, and I feel that I live in the gray, and I can be a mayor that is a mayor of action that takes, the concerns of the community to heart, and those are the issues that they address and that they overcome.
All right, Josh, now it would give you the opportunity to say a brief word to the viewers.
Well, what I'd like to say to the viewers is, vote the person, not the party. When you have an independent candidate, they have the ability to speak for the community as a whole, not a special interest here or special interest there, but the needs of the community. So vote the person, not the party.
All right, Josh, thank you very much.
Thank you. It's
been
a pleasure
meeting you. Josh Budd is running for Jasper City Mayor. He is an independent, and he encourages you to get out and vote. We thank you for watching WJTS Inform. We are local people watching local people.